Hello and welcome to Digital DJ Tips, where today we're looking at the Soundboks Go. It's a brand new speaker from Soundboks, the makers of the Soundboks 3, which is a runaway success speaker that kind of crosses the line between Bluetooth speaker, PA speaker, DJ speaker and all that. Loud enough to play at festivals and in fields, as many people know who've experienced them, but also with the smarts of Bluetooth speakers and more up its sleeve, which makes these a thoroughly modern type of speaker and quite unique out there. But they've just released this one, which is the Soundboks Go, which is half the size. I've got the original speaker here. It's a bit of a beast. There you go. There's the Soundboks 3. Sometimes not what you want, sometimes not what is necessary for whatever it is you want to do. Throwing it in the back of your car to go to a party or whatever, it just sometimes was a little bit big, the Soundboks 3. So they've released this new one. So today we're going to be looking at it. We've been playing with it. We've got lots and lots of opinions on this, having used it for a weekend in a garden, round a pool, cranked it up, played it with all kinds of music. So I'm ready to give you our opinions as to what we think of it, the pluses and minuses. But if you've got any questions about this, the brand new Soundboks 3 Go speaker from the makers of the Soundboks 3, then do let us know, because this is a live show. It means that we can answer your questions afterwards, which is something that you don't normally get on reviews, and that's what makes these reviews pretty special. Right, so let's get started. And I want to start really by talking about the original Soundboks and the whole Soundboks idea, because these are really loud speakers, but they're smart. So they've got Bluetooth on them. The original one has also got the ability to plug in XLRs and outputs, wired outputs, and all the kind of stuff musicians want. They even got microphones and stuff in their range and special cables. So they definitely aimed the original one along with speaker stands and all that kind of thing. Not so much at only the consumer, if you like, the lover of music who just wants a really loud speaker, but also at people who want to perform with it. The original one was designed for that. It had something called SCAA, S-K-A-A, which is a low latency, effectively a no latency way of making the speakers pair up with each other. So, you know, the problem with this kind of speaker is that, yeah, they're all well and good, but if you've ever tried to gang them up, like, you know, the JBLs and so on, you try and Bluetooth them all together and then DJ through them, it doesn't work. There's too much latency, there's too much delay. But these ones have conquered that with a system that's better than Bluetooth called SCAA. Not only the one we're looking at here, which we're going to get onto, but the original Soundboks 3 as well. So that means that it's technically possible to gang together at least a pair of them, if not more, and have really totally usable latency, very low latency anyway, audio. So that's one of the things we've got to test on this one, because the problem with Bluetooth speakers for DJing, and by the way, this isn't made for DJs. They don't pretend it is, but we're going to talk about it from the point of view of DJs. The problem with Bluetooth speakers for DJing is because you have got the ability on some of them to plug a wire in. So you might buy a Bluetooth speaker and think, you know what, I can get around the Bluetooth stuff by plugging in a cable, a normal cable, and that's going to give me what I need. But the trouble is, cables like this, you'd expect them to give you latency-free audio, right? If you plug it into a speaker, but often, probably most of the time, they don't on Bluetooth speakers, you know, the JBLs and the Boses of this world and so on. And the reason for that is they have digital signal processors built into them that allows them to do all that clever stuff, pairing speakers up and so on. And then even when you do plug one of these in, there is a delay. If anyone's ever tried to DJ through a Sonos system, you'll know what I mean as well. You need low or zero latency wired for these speakers to even come close for DJing. So we've tested that. We're going to talk about that as well. So let's get started on what we think of this, the Soundboks Go. So it's half the size of the original Soundboks that I held up. That's really important. It's about 9 kilograms in weight. It's kind of plastic, but very, very well made. It doesn't feel in any way not well made. If anyone's old enough to remember milk cartons, there is a milk cartony feel to this, which isn't a bad thing. So you've got a bass driver, you've got a cone, you've got some reflex ports in the front here. It's got two 72-watt amplifiers, and it's got very high decibels. The claim is about 112 or something, I can't remember. It does go loud, but we'll talk about the volume in a minute. So overall, really well built. Big carry handle on the top, big rubberized carry handle. It's really nice to feel. Funnily enough though, it's actually harder to carry, I would say, than the original, because the original you can't really carry on your own, so you get two of you, one each, and it's kind of quite easy. But this is actually quite hard to carry if it's just you for quite a long distance, because I don't know if you've ever carried like one bag of shopping. It pulls you down on one side, doesn't it? It's the same with this. It's kind of like 10 kilos, 9 kilos in one hand. It is quite hard to carry, and it's quite boxy as well. But anyway, it's a lot smaller than the other one. So if you are carrying it on your own, it's certainly easier than carrying the other one on your own, the Soundboks 3. So it also, for €50 or $50, which I think is quite expensive, comes with a really nice, admittedly, carry strap. And this carry strap will clip on to your sides of the unit, because these are kind of like, I'll clip it on the top there just to show you. These are kind of like the webbed, see like that? Webbing. That's kind of strapped in. So you can clip on there or around the sides, wherever you want to carry it, wherever is comfortable for you. So it is a really nice strap, but it is €50 or dollars more, which is quite a lot. So do think hard about whether you actually need a strap for it. So you get this strap as well as an optional extra. Let's have a little look at the way it's powered, because it's powered in quite a professional way. So if I was to turn the speaker around and show you the back of the speaker, here is where the battery plugs in. So it's plugged in the same way as in the previous one. So it's obviously a design thing. Some people liked or didn't like this, but it's obviously one that works because they're still doing it. So the battery comes out like this, right? You get a battery pack. These are standard. They're the same size battery packs that work in the original. You get a battery pack. It lasts about 10 hours on full power or 40 hours on lower power, which is pretty good. And it just slots in there like that. And then that socket plugs in there. That lead plugs in that socket and holds the whole thing in. In practice, it works really well. Now, you can, if you want, power this while you are listening to it. You get this power adapter with it, and that power adapter just plugs in here while you're listening to it. So you unplug that, you plug the power adapter in like this, and then you plug this into the power adapter, and then that into the wall, this one off into the wall, and then that'll give you charging the battery and powering, but you're not meant to go at more than half volume when you do that for some reason. So you're only meant to go to full volume on the actual battery itself. This little lightning symbol here will tell you how charged the battery is. Mine is not very charged at all, as you can see there. So the batteries are pretty cool. Of course, you can get the replacement batteries, or you can get extra batteries from the manufacturers, and that means that you can hot swap them if you like. Well, not hot swap them because you've got to turn it off, but you can swap the batteries over in order to keep the music playing while you're charging another one in the house or whatever, which is a nice little addition. Exactly the same as on the other speaker, the battery system, the way that works there. So, all right, then you've got your battery plugged in. How do you get the speaker working? Well, I'm going to just turn it around again like this, and then switch over to that top view and talk to you about what we got here. So to turn it on, hold this down. It will power on like this. There's your, this is your volume control. It goes up to 11, which is a nice touch. And so you've got join. To join another speaker that's already working. You can see there's a flashing Bluetooth symbol here, so we can Bluetooth in from our phone really easily in the normal way. The speaker can be set to work on its own, or you can set it to host, where other speakers can join it using the SCAR system, which is the low to zero latency that we were talking about. It's really easy in practice to get that going, and really that's it for using it. You just turn the thing on, you Bluetooth in from whatever you want to Bluetooth in from, your phone if you're just listening to it, and you're off. However, as DJs, of course, we need to have a way of getting ourselves plugged into it. And that's where it is, you know, they were clear to me, please don't pretend it's a DJ speaker. It isn't, and that's fair enough. But the really important thing is, can you plug your gear in? And yes, you can. So using the lead that we were just looking at here, a usual 8-inch stereo mini jack to 2 RCAs. Round the side of the speaker here, just there, is a socket to plug that into. And then this goes off to your DJ controller, whatever it is you're using. I've got a DJ controller here. You plug this into here, you plug your controller off into your computer, and then you're ready to go. You could even find a way of putting it on there, although it's won't balance that well on there, but I'm sure you could. If your controller was a bit bigger, it might fit on there quite nicely, actually. Not tried that. But anyway, the really, really important thing, is there any latency? Now, what do I mean by this? Because people get really confused by this and they say, oh, my speakers haven't got any latency. They're all right, but hear me out on this. The point here is that if you were to, and I tested this like 10 minutes ago to make sure I was right about this one, and I was. If you plug your DJ controller into your speaker and then start a track playing, and then you set your headphones going in your ears, you should hear exactly the same music coming out of the speaker exactly the same time. Every hi-hat should be hitting in your ear and from the speaker at exactly the same time. You can hear instantly if it isn't, and it doesn't have to be far out. The latency doesn't have to be huge for that to become a problem. I'm going to guess 50 milliseconds or higher, you're really going to start hearing it. So most speakers, most Bluetooth speakers, a lot of people don't really hear that, but it's there. And any DJ who's ever used vinyl or manually beat mixed will spot it instantly. I can categorically tell you that if there is latency on this, I couldn't notice it, which means it's going to be below 20, 25 milliseconds, which is fine for me, fine for anyone I'd say to DJ with. It's fine. So you can plug in your DJ equipment and it will work just perfectly. You can basically DJ on it, which is what we wanted to know. Now, let's talk about whether you would want to DJ on this. It is not designed to do the job of a big PA system or a big speaker. It is not big enough, so you're not going to get that very, very low bass that you get from bigger speakers. It's pure physics. But that said, it's pretty big, right? This is not a small device. And so you do get really good low frequencies and really good bass. That's a strength, but also it could be a weakness. So I'll explain to you what I mean by that. This has got some kind of clever wizardry built into it to give you I would say too much bass, but not the real low bass, because we've already described you can't get really low bass out of this. It's the kind of upper bass or the very, very low mid frequencies. I just think they dominate. We had this set up in a garden and it really was quite boomy. And so this is where the app comes in, because there is an app that you can get for this, which will let you mess around with all that stuff. The app is free, of course it's free, it's on the App Store. And when you download this app, you can mess around with all kinds of little settings, including customizing the EQ. And I'd say this is really important because I think you're going to want to knock out some of these low to mids. But it still doesn't sound as punchy and as good as the bigger one, but you wouldn't expect it to. It's half the size. But with a bit of tweaking on here, and you can save your settings on here, you can get it to something which is going to be better for what you want. Now, there's also settings in the app for all kinds of things, for kind of like fixing up the way it's interacting with other speakers, and for setting it for indoors, and if you really do like the bass, really boosting the bass on it. But I'd say, especially if you've got it on the floor or in the corner of a room, there's going to be plenty of bass, probably too much. If I had one criticism of it, is that there's too much bass and it's not the really good type, because it's not big enough to give you really big bass. I think these have been maximized for outdoor use, and outdoors bass disappears instantly, and I think that's probably what they're thinking here. In a field, it's going to sound out of the box really quite banging, and enough bass to not get lost in the background noise and the wind and all that. And it certainly has got that power in it. It does go very loud. Now, I'm no expert on this stuff. I don't get sound pressure meters out, but I can tell you it goes very loud, enough to annoy anyone if you're taking it camping or on the beach or whatever. So it hasn't let the side down from the original Soundboks speaker in that respect. So what are our thoughts on this? You know, we are reviewing this from the point of view of DJs, even though it's not meant to be a DJ speaker. I would say that with the ability to connect up with no latency to other Soundboks speakers, or very, very low latency, with the ability to Bluetooth in when you just want to listen to music, and to wire into it, albeit without any of the professional wiring in bits, if you like, you know, the XLRs and the inputs and outputs and stuff that you get on the big one, which is fair enough. But the ability to plug in an input from a DJ controller, if you want to DJ with it, you could even DJ from your phone with it and still have that no latency. That combination of the ability to connect to other speakers wirelessly and wire in a DJ controller and have the latency low enough to not notice it so you can DJ with it, plus the sound quality, you know, it's loud and it's definitely good for house music, because it's got that big punch in it. it's going to be fine for DJing on, but also for day-to-day use as well, and for carting around. You're clearly not going to carry this around if you're backpacking or whatever, but if you've got an RV or a car or a camper van and you want to throw a speaker in the back and that goes one up from the smaller speakers, you know, we do review smaller speakers. We love this little system, by the way, from Mini Rig, which has got a little bass speaker, and you can get a couple of these to pair with it. But these are not going to get anywhere near the power you get from one of these, right? Because again, it's down to physics. If you do want something big, you know, you want the Hummer version of the Bluetooth portable speaker, the Soundboks Go is definitely it. Now, price-wise, it's $699 and euros, and an extra 50, as I said, for the strap, which I think is possibly a little bit steep, but if you want the strap, definitely worth buying it. You will regret it otherwise, because carrying this thing around by its handle does get quite tiring quite quickly. So there we go. There's our review of the Soundboks Go, a brand new speaker from the makers of the Soundboks 3. If you've got any questions about this, do ask them underneath this video, wherever you're watching it, Facebook or YouTube. But now, for the rest of our time together today, we're going to go to the comments and I'm going to chat to you guys and girls. Let's pull the computer in, say hello to a few people, and do our usual nattering away about speakers and latency and DJing on portable systems and the difference between Bluetooth and all the stuff that we always get into when we hit these topics. So thank you for watching. If you're here for the review, you can go now, but if you want to hang around, you're going to hear loads of questions asked by our awesome community here at Digital DJ Tips, the biggest DJ school in the world. Right. Hi people, we are very busy today, which is pretty normal. By the way, Easter break, eh? We're back after the Easter break. So thank you for bearing with us while we had a well-deserved, I thought, holiday. Hi to David and to You Don't Like My Music, Ingy and DJ Flash Lewis, who says it looks really nice. I agree with you, it does look nice. They've done a good job of it for sure. Hello to Good Vibes, who says good timing. So obviously you're in the market for a speaker. It's beautiful, says Good Vibes. How to hook up the mic though? It's a very good question. Again, this is not designed for DJing. This is not a DJ speaker, so they haven't got microphone inputs and all that kind of stuff. But hey, it's easy to hook up a mic. Whatever DJ controller you're using is going to have a microphone socket on it. So plug the microphone into the microphone socket on your controller. On this controller, it's, you have no idea where the microphone socket is on here. It must have one, they all do. This is going to be the one time where I'm proven wrong, isn't it? I don't think this has actually got a microphone socket on it, believe it or not. I review so many controllers that I forget these little strange details, but look, most DJ controllers have got a microphone socket on them already, so just plug into there and there's your mic. You know, when we advise people about DJ live streaming, that's what we say. Don't worry with separate mic inputs, just use the one on the DJ controller. Franz says, I already have 2 Soundboks 3s and I'd like to buy it. You want to collect the lot, don't you now? We're going to actually throw this in. We've got a camper van. We head off every summer to tour around the place. We're going to throw it in the back of our camper van, I think, this summer and see how we get on with it. So I can give you a long-term report a little bit later on about how we did with that. Good looking speaker, says Robert. So we did have a great bank holiday weekend. Thank you for that, Rob. Are you giving one away, says Richard? Unfortunately not. No, this is only a review sample that we've got here, so we won't be giving this away. Sadly, it's a perfect match for the Denon Prime Go, says Salvation Drum and Bass. And Carl says, super. Yeah, it is. You know, there's a real movement towards cool, clever, modern, portable battery-powered DJ gear, isn't there? And production gear and stuff as well. So yeah, it would be a great thing to pair with that. Even two of them would be pretty awesome to pair with it. One thing I forgot to tell you actually is that the speaker does have a pole mount on it, but it's quite strange because it's on the bottom. See there, that pole mount, the hole? So you can stick it on a pole, but then it's going to be horizontal. It's not going to be vertical, which would be fine, just a little bit unusual. Jack says, this is why I do suitcase carries as part of my weight training. 10 kilos is nothing. Good on you, Jack. Nice to hear it, my friend. So 10 hours on full power is pretty good, says DJ Dash. Yeah, and we can confirm that because we tested it at the weekend. And that is on full power, although we didn't have it full, but we had it pretty loud for a whole afternoon. And it worked, 10 hours on a full charge. Hence the fact that when I showed you the battery a minute ago, it was nearly empty because we've been playing with it. So I showed you that the DJ volume control here goes up to 11. A few of you liking this. There you go, you can see it better on that view there. See the 11 there? So very spinal tap, as a couple of you have pointed out that. It says Nufe is one of those people who's pointed that out. Hi Chris in Vienna. Mixmaster G over there in the Netherlands. Hello Mixmaster G. Says, good to see you're finally joining the Soundboks squad. Hey, we've been there a while. We've been there ever since the Soundboks 3 at least, Mixmaster G. And hello to Dennis. Not seen you for a while, Dennis. I hope you're well, my friend. So comments on this, questions, comments. What do you think of this Soundboks unit? I've got the computer here. All the comments are coming in live. And I will be happy to answer them until we're done, and then we will go. DJ T Par T says, what makes this better than, say, the Mackie Thump Go, other than the SCAR ability? Well, we haven't reviewed the Mackie Thump Go. The thing is, the difference between this speaker, I would say, just generally, the difference between the Soundboks speakers and the, you know, the HK Audio one we reviewed recently, the JBL Eon, the Mackie Thump, is that these are kind of, they're not pretending to be purely for performers and PA duties. They're right on the line. They're straddling the line between that and, you know, Bluetooth speakers that you can use on the go as a consumer. I think the SCAR ability is good. I think some of the stuff in the app is really nice. And apart from that, they are pretty similar. At the end of the day, they're very loud speakers that are designed for people to party with. So not a massive difference. And for whatever it is you need a speaker for, a Mackie Thump Go, a JBL Eon, an HK Audio, as we've reviewed on this channel and stuff, they'd all work fine. So yeah, you know, they're in the same ballpark for sure. Hello to Technobeat in the Philippines. Justin says that controller does not have a microphone input, which is sad because it's the best iPad controller. Yeah, I can't believe I would have picked up on that when we reviewed it, but we review so much stuff here, we forget about these little things. How does it compare to the Bose Pro 1 sound-wise? It's a little bit different to the Bose 1 because that's a line array system where you've got all the little speakers in the big tower, if I remember rightly anyway, if that's the model that you're referring to. They're just a different sound. This is basically more, it's cruder. This is cruder and louder in truth, and that's going to be better for lower volume but nicer distributed audio, because that's what they're made for. You know, wedding DJs love those, you know the speakers I mean, right? The ones where you have a kind of like bass bin and then you have a long pole with lots of little speakers in. Mobile DJs love these, especially wedding DJs, where it's not about sheer power because they diffuse the sound far more nicely, and so you don't get people moaning when their ears right next to a speaker at dinner and all that kind of stuff. These are more for volume, right? These are more for just banging it out. So I've got a Denon DJ Prime Go, says DJ Ginormous, and on the way, even better, you must be excited. And that little beauty would look pretty good next to it, indeed. I bet you are thinking about where you can save your pennies, right? So we are talking about this, by the way, if you've joined us late on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch. Hello, Twitch people. This is the Soundboks Go. It's a new speaker from Soundboks. It is not designed as a DJ speaker, but we've tested it as such, and we can say that it, in a lot of ways, is a good little DJ speaker, you know, for smaller parties, for barbecues, for pool parties, and so on. It's got an indoors mode, so you could probably get away with using it as your practice speaker as well. And the reason it's good for DJing is that it's got low latency pairing up with other Soundboks speakers, so you could DJ on it with wireless pairing with others. Also, it's got a low or no latency line input, which is really important. And of course, it's loud, and its sound signature is pretty bassy, which you wouldn't want to produce music on a setup like this. It's not true to, you know, the original tracks at all. But for DJ, when you just want to pump out those kick drums, it's getting close. You don't like my music? Good question. Is it mono or stereo? It's not even pretending to be stereo, this. It's a pure mono speaker. Oh my God, says Waylon in New Zealand, it goes up to 11. I know, it's funny, isn't it? Do you want to see that again, people who've joined us late? This speaker actually goes up to 11. And there you go. Just like the Spinal Tap movie, for those old enough to remember it. What's the price range? $699 and euros is the price of this, with an extra, quite a cheeky extra 50 for the admittedly very nice strap that goes with it. Hello to Nizar in Greece. Hello to Mixmaster G's, just sharing a little bit more about the sunshine. Apparently it's sunny in Amsterdam as well, so good to hear that. No, there's no delay on it, to someone over in our Facebook group there, which is a really important thing. The Thumb Go, we haven't reviewed the Thumb Go, but you guys and girls are helping us with this. It is battery powered. It gets very loud. It has a swappable battery and professional inputs, and it's a more affordable price, says DJ Tea Party. So we'll try and get the Thumb Go in. We've been trying for a little while to do that. We'll also try and get the JBL Eon in. So when we review the JBL Eon, the Thumb Go, this, and the HK Audio one, the HK Audio Move, which we did recently, we'll do kind of a group roundup as well. So that you can compare the lot of them. So you didn't miss the price, and these are, but once more, €699 dollars, not sure about pounds. No, you can't DJ with Bluetooth and no latency, because Bluetooth has latency. So this is something that's been asked by Justin. However, you can wire your DJ controller in, and then you can link these up with other speakers in the Soundboks range with no latency or very low latency. So you could DJ with them all linked up wirelessly. If you had a SCAR transmitter, well, we're getting into a completely different realm now, on your DJ gear, I'm not sure if you could actually then link into this and DJ with that. I think you probably could, but I'm not sure. But anyway, SCAR transmitters exist, but they're not widespread. So is it rainproof? It is, but apparently you don't want to submerge it. And they did say, I think it's because of the sockets. I think the line-in socket and a couple of other things aren't rainproof, but it does have one of those IP ratings. So yeah, it's designed to withstand showers at least. Hello to Pavel in Lithuania, and hello to the Ruckus, one of our long-standing and most loyal community members. So the Ruckus, good to see you. Sorry I'm late, says someone on Facebook. Please tell me about latency. Good news, 0 latency through the cable and very low latency when you use SCAR to pair it up with other Soundboks speakers. Certainly good enough for DJing on, which is really cool. Hello to Carl in Manchester, my home city. Hello to sorry, I'm just being congratulated by Restream, which is the service we use to go live, for having more than 100 messages live today, but I can't say hello to Restream because it's a bot. So hello to Randy, and to David, who says, yeah, a group roundup would be really good. So we will do that for you at some point. Right, okay, so we're going to round up now. So what we've been doing today is looking at this, the Soundboks Go, the new speaker from Soundboks, the people who make the very, very famous Soundboks 3. This one here. This Soundboks Go is a new, smaller take on it. It's about half the size of the Soundboks 3. It's got two 72 watt amplifiers in it. It goes very loud. It's got a pretty bassy audio signature, although that can all be tweaked on the app, which I would certainly recommend that you get if you want to use this. It's easy to pair this up with other Soundboks speakers for practically latency-free operation using the built-in SCAR, SKAA, which is better than Bluetooth, much lower latency. So using that, you can pair it up with others, or you can join a party that's already running with others, or you can use it on its own. It is a more portable version of what Soundboks do, which is basically party speakers designed to use with Bluetooth or with the latency-free wire as well. Lots of you saying I am looking forward to the roundup as well, because all non-DJ reviews don't mention delay. That's because they don't have to, because only DJs care about this stuff. So yes, we will be, hopefully we'll review the JBL Eon next. And then I will continue to push for Mackie to send us a thump, because I've not managed for that to happen yet. But once we've done that and we've had all 4 in, we might even get the Bose L1 as well and review the lot, so do a big roundup. So keep your eyes open for that. But meanwhile, this has been Phil in the Digital DJ Tips studio with our look at the Soundboks Go. There's a full written review on the Digital DJ Tips website, link underneath. Please do like, share, follow, do all that stuff. And if you like what you see on our channel and you like what we do here, then the best thing you can do is join us. Go to this link here, you get a free copy of our book, you get a free copy of our gear guide, but more importantly, you get our weekly newsletter called Tuesday Tips, which will help you to become a better DJ and a better DJ producer. How? Because it's full of free tutorials from our courses, it's full of free mixes from our tutors like James Hype, Laidback Luke, DJ Angelo, Jazzy Jeff, What more could you want, people? And links to articles, reviews, roundups, and all the stuff that we cover over on the Digital DJ Tips website. And if you don't know the Digital DJ Tips website, where have you been, my friends? We are the biggest DJ website in Europe. We are here to help you with your DJing. So head over to digitaldjtips.com and find out all about what we do. Indeed, there we go. There is the announcement of the Soundboks Go there, and you'll find a lot more stuff on here, including all the reviews that we've written over the years. Nearly all of these have review videos as well. You can drill down. We are the #1 resource for DJ technology and training, so do come and join us. And while you're there, check out our DJ courses, especially because they're currently in the Easter sale, which means up to 45% off all of our DJ courses, including the courses from Jazzy Jeff, James Hype, DJ Angelo, Laidback Luke, and everything else we do. Absolutely everything is currently in the sale. So go check that out. But meanwhile, from me, Phil, here in the studio, get good, get out there, make the moments, and we'll see you again very soon. Till next time, bye-bye.